90 watching it. I'm sure Matt will get onto that Quaid legacy in a minute. Before I go over to you, Matt, one more question, Joe. On you were manager of Limerick 16s back in 2012, and it was a team that had Cian Lynch, Barry Nash, Tom Morrissey, Sean Finn. I suppose, did you realise, it's 11 years ago now, did you realise at the time that this was a special crew?
I'll go back even further to 13 years ago when we took them down to the Forrestal. And we had to fight a battle to get them down to stay the night before. And I think, to be fair, a lot of the parents paid for it. And we got lambasted by people in a lot of quarters that taking them the night before was a bad idea. They wouldn't sleep, to affect their game the following day. And you know what? They were probably right. It did affect their game. It did affect their sleep. But what we wanted to do was introduce them at a very young age to being part of an elite squad. And I remember that night I told the lads we had a meeting. I think we had a puck around the Mount Sign. Then we had a meeting and we brought him back to the hotel. I think it was the Travelodge there on the road out by Waterford Crystal. And I told him, look, we'll be down here. And if you can't sleep, give me a shout. So I think Cian Lynch was the first one to ring anyway and say he couldn't sleep. And I said, right, bring down a few of the lads, whoever wants to go for a walk. So we went for a walk anyway for about 3/4 of an hour, dropped them back, and about 10 minutes after, Owen Costello from Adair rang, Joe, we can't sleep. I said, Jesus Christ, could you not all have come together? So off we went again. And I'll never forget walking down the road that night and just see the bond between them. I think Ray Ryan that was with me, myself, Ray and Dan, Joshie and Declan Murphy, we were walking down the road, and I think Ray Ryan turned around to me and he pointed over and he said, they'll win in All Ireland. So that was at 14s. But like the likes, the players, we had 9 players that out of that bunch of lads that won All Ireland medals in 2018. Like, it's a phenomenal bunch. Like every night we went training, I don't think there was any night of training or a match that Cian Lynch didn't do something that you'd turn around on the sideline and go, holy shit, what is that? This fella, someone asked me the other day, was he somewhat like he is now back then? I said, he's not somewhat at all. I said, he's a carbon copy of what he was back then. I said, he just honed it and got bigger, stronger, but his skill levels were phenomenal. Like, you have the other side of it then. We put Sean Finn and Aaron Gillan back onto the B squad for a couple of years. They were good enough to make the A squad, but they weren't making the team. So we made the decision, okay, let's put them back in the Bs where they will get plenty of hurling. They'll be the main men on the Bs. And to be fair, the lads understood the reason why. And by the time they got up into the 16s All Ireland, Sean was starting with us. And look at the way they've developed since. There's a huge sense of pride in having some small part to play in them lads. And I'll never forget in 18, I went down to the side of the pitch to meet Nicky, and Sean Finn passed, and he pulled up and he came over and he said, this one's for you. He said, thanks for everything you've done for me. And, that's as good. To me, that was as good as an All Ireland